it's Leela, the proud poly kinky queer slut. Today's question is about kink, and the question is, how do you know which kink play is safe? And that's a great question. The answer is none of it's safe. And that's a little bit facetious. I mean, of course, we take safety precautions, but the truth is that we are playing with stuff that's dangerous here, and we need to be aware of that going in. So there's this concept of risk-informed consent. So being aware of the risks that you're taking and factoring that into your negotiation so that you can be informed and make good choices with your consent. This is also why we have things like safe words and express communication tactics in our negotiation, because everything that you do with kink has some amount of danger. Even just spanking, you hit the wrong spot, you could hurt somebody badly. So there are some general things that everyone should know to keep yourself safe. And that is, one, talk about what you're going to do before you do it. Two, get familiar with human anatomy, with the basics of human anatomy. And generally, things that might injure you seriously in other activities could injure you seriously in kink. So, for example, twisting joints in the wrong way, that can be really dangerous and is something you should avoid. Getting a bruise on your arm, not a big deal. Generally okay to play with something like that. Like pinching a nerve or a tendon in there, more dangerous, something more to be aware of. So best thing to do is to educate yourself. So there are classes and workshops locally in a lot of places around this. I recommend finding your local independently owned sex toy shop. They often have classes or resources. You can also learn a lot just by getting on FetLife or on other social media apps and looking for local groups that are doing things in local events. There are always people who are willing to point you towards where the education is. Also, a lot of folks are now posting stuff online, like on YouTube and things like that. I personally found books really helpful because I love audiobooks. And so there are a few books that I'm going to go ahead and put in the notes that I highly, highly recommend. The first two are the New Topping book and the New Bottoming book by Janet W. Hardy. They are excellent books about how to be a good top and a responsible bottom. It's important to know that if you're bottoming, meaning if you're the one receiving the pain, receiving the being the service person, or giving power in the scene, that you are just as responsible as the top for all elements of negotiation and preparation. And it's important that you understand the risks of what you're engaging in so that you can take responsibility for yourself and safe word when you need to, even if you're giving up all of that in the scene, or all of the obvious power in the scene. It's still on your responsibility to know what you're doing in terms of what the risk factors are. So those are two great books, the New Topping book and the New Bottoming book by Janet Hardy. I also found a really good book and there are several of this kind out there, but I highly recommend a book of this nature when you're getting into it. The Ultimate Guide to Kink, BDSM Roleplay, and the Erotic Edge. And I'll link to this one as well, just the Amazon page, because that's where I found it. And it's just a big how-to book. It's just a big book that goes through a lot of the how-to stuff of how to do what you want to do. And then I'm also going to link to a local Portland resource because they're amazing. The people at Sub Rosa. They are a couple of pro-doms who have opened a place, and they do a ton of education. And so that's what I know because it's in my local area, but I would suggest you look for what might be in your area or online. And Sub Rosa does a lot of virtual stuff too. Another one that's awesome is Shebop, is a local sex toy store that does a lot of lessons, a lot of training on a lot of different things having to do with sex and sexuality in all forms. So I'll go ahead and link to that as well. I hope that this is helpful and helps get you on your journey of educating yourself about what is safe and what is dangerous, and how to mitigate that danger and take the risks at the level that's right for you. Thanks, and have a great day. Remember, you can ask me anything.